that this is the premier control point, even more than oil and gas now. It's food. And so just as they understand it and they're making their moves, we need to understand it. I want everybody listening to this to sit down and say, okay, let's assume food prices for the next 3 years are going up, 5 to 15% a year for the next 3 years. How am I going to jump the curve on that and get higher quality food at lower cost? And that requires, Alex, organization. And there are absolutely ways to do it, but we need to think starting very creatively about, okay, do I join a CSA? Do I organize with my neighbors and do a food club? Do we go down and buy wholesale at the terminal market? How do we do it?
And by the way, that's normal human interaction. It's fun to be involved in the selling of good food, the growing of it. This is real humanity out there in the mud and the dirt and the grass, with goats and chickens running around, not watching glowing TV screens and gobbling Prozac, but expanding on that. Expanding briefly, my father about a year ago said, I'm suddenly seeing water well drillers all over Austin. I didn't know you could drill a well in Austin. We found out there's certain zones they don't let you in the name of water quality, but there are many areas in Austin and Travis County you can. And then I saw a newscast about thousands of wells being drilled, and I called up one of the biggest companies in the newscast, and they said, oh, hi, Alex. Yeah, we know who you are. They said a lot of people that are calling us and in fact, I meant to have them on. I never told the producers to get them on. That they're afraid the government's going to stop them from being able to have a well. They didn't even know they could have a well. So suddenly middle class and wealthy people, the well drilling rigs are just all over town. They're coming in from all over Texas to drill because the people instinctively know that the globalists are coming in buying up water supplies and they've got to get wells grandfathered. So we're really seeing people quietly getting ready.
Well, I'm an investment advisor. And I am constantly saying to people, why are you complaining that your yields are dropping on your investments and your water bill is going up? This is really simple. The water that you're buying is not safe. Get your money, stop financing the water companies in the stock market who then provide you with unsafe water. Why don't you just go build your own well?
And that's why they're moving to block rainwater collection.
Right. Absolutely. Because the 20 years from now, water will be considered far more precious than oil and gas. Water and sunlight is the source and oxygen. And so, when Alex, I live out in the country. I had my own well. I tested the water. Lehman's wonderful store that supplies the Amish has a great water test. And my water tested perfectly. And I still got a whole house water filter because I was still afraid of what chemtrails might do to the water table. There's nothing more important than having excellent water. And so this is an area where everybody listening to this show, if your takeaway is, I'm going to think about how to create healthy, redundant sources of food and water and withdraw from the system, because that's going to be one of the major control points. And the other thing to say, because if you look at what's going to happen with the economy, what's happening now, what's going to happen next year, I want everybody to sit down and say, I need to get radical about my time. How can I cut out of my life every connection to the big systems, the big governments, the big corporations? How can I reduce my interaction and my dependency in a way that saves me time? Because you're going to need that time to build these new networks and these connections. You're going to need time to really rethink how you do food. So, turn off corporate news. Get radical. If you're doing things because you think it looks right, you need to stop that. You need every minute of your time to build energy for you and your family, because next year we're going to have lots of different systems going through unbelievable change, and it's going to put unbelievable pressure on your time. Well, more and more people and systems in crisis.
Well, I want to, in the final segment, and as we go into break, talk about the changes from your financial expertise that we're going into and how serious it's going to get. But 7 million people, major university studies have shown, we've covered them here, starved in the 10 years of the Depression, it's estimated. They would get compromised immune systems from malnutrition and die, and there were a lot of serious problems. That was with 90% of people being rural, 10% being urban. Now we're right at 90% urban, 10% rural. Of that 10%, they estimate only about half are self-sufficient. We have got to get self-sufficient now. And real wealth is community. It's knowing your neighbors. It's being partially self-sufficient, at least letting them be partially self-sufficient, and having pacts to help each other during collapse. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Start being as useful as you can to your neighbors and the people in your network. That's how you, by being useful with everybody else, that's how we find the opportunities to build, because what we're really looking to do is build resiliency. And by really being able to help each other and do it without going through the big system.
Well, we've got to do it now. Stop buying the Walmart junk. Start investing. And my dad looked into drilling a well on his little piece of property. He's got 3 acres in town, and it's not zoned. He's not allowed to. But, I mean, I'm to the point of I wish there were drilling companies. It's time to start rebelling. You know, we're allowed to have our own water. You know, we're allowed. Did you see last year where a major city in Oklahoma, Tucson, said people may grow marijuana in their gardens? We want a law to have inspections of gardens to make sure backyard gardens aren't growing marijuana. Pre-crime. You're guilty until proven innocent.
Oh, my word. You know, it's amazing because having gone through litigation with the federal government, I went through 18 audits and investigations, and on several occasions, Alex, we were able to prove and document, it's all up on the web, that they tried to falsify evidence against us. And that's before they had this kind of technology. And it's another reason you want to be really involved with community and transparent within that community about what you're doing.
Exactly. Stay there. So you got witnesses. We'll be right back.
Attention, this is a special alert to all Americans who owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS. The IRS is now accepting reduced settlements from people who owe back taxes and dramatically lowering amounts owed. Due to the financial crisis in America, the IRS has announced a leniency plan in recognition of consumers' financial troubles in today's economy. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS, an open phone line has been established by American Tax Settlement for you to call and see if you qualify for a reduction by up to 75%. Number to call is 800-902-6969. Again, the IRS is now accepting reduced settlements from consumers who owe back taxes in response to the decline in today's economy. If you are struggling with $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS, you now may be eligible for a dramatic reduction by up to 75% and save thousands of dollars. For free information and to see if you qualify, call the open phone line into American Tax Settlement now. 800-902-6969. 800-902-6969. Again, 800-902-6969.
The question is, where should the American people draw their line in the sand?
What have we got? A republic or a monarchy?
A republic is based on a constitution which protects minority rights.
Not democracy, not mob rule, 2 wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
So they think they own our land, they think they own our water, children, our education, our money.
We have to define who we are and what we will tolerate.
Somebody's going to ask you what you did during the Patriot Uprising.
You have been warned.
We have the facts. We have the Constitution. We have the Bill of Rights. We have common law. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm so excited to be able to offer you Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic. Tyranny is upon us, but liberty and the sleeping giant that is the American people is rising. A new tool in the info war. Don't Tread on Me. Order it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139 and support independent, patriotic Liberty films.
No one likes foreclosure. You won't say, think, or even consider foreclosure with ZeroDebtGuarantee.com. Why? Because ZeroDebtGuarantee.com guarantees to stop your foreclosure for at least 2 years with no payments, no bankruptcy, and no negotiating. Thinking loan modification? That still keeps you in default. Zero Debt in 90 days is the only proven system that keeps you in your house for as long as you want to stay, while making it possible to even get clear title to your house. No, we are not investors, bankers, attorneys, or real estate agents. We are a group of people just like you that are sick and tired of the housing crash, and we've helped thousands avoid foreclosure since 1993. Please visit our website today, ZeroDebtGuarantee.com, or call to see how we can help save you tens of thousands of dollars and save your home. Call 800-477-9256. 800-477-9256. That's 800-477-9256, or visit ZeroDebtGuarantee.com. Guaranteed to stop foreclosure.
Final segment with Catherine Austin Fitch, Solari.com. We've got the story mirrored that's up on prisonplanet.com and Infowars.net in case those sites have any traffic problems. GCNlive.com. The network site has it in full. GCNlive.com. Computers predict what crime will be committed, where and by whom and when. Total surveillance. Another video we didn't have a chance to play today. Constitution is silly stuff. The same Illinois congressman that said he doesn't care about the Constitution earlier this year, Congressman Phil Hare, has said it again. That's up at GCNlive.com. And a Infowars.com reader was arrested when he saw the police handcuffing a woman who they let go during a traffic stop. He called them Nazis, so they came over to his house and arrested him. And the point is, it's not nice to call him that, but it is his First Amendment. That's up at GCNlive.com. But Catherine, finishing up in the last 5 minutes, what type of collapse are you talking about, or the big changes in the next year? What's the time frame? And your final comment on all this Big Brother control system they're racing to put in place?
Alex, I don't think we're looking at a collapse. I think we've been in what I call a slow burn. I think the slow burn is going to continue. In the slow burn, you have insiders and outsiders, and the insiders protect themselves and financial assets by basically draining the outsiders. And what we're going to see among the outsiders is we're going to see a reconciling of overheads, whether in households, in state and local government, in small business, to much reduced cash flows and much higher expenses. And so the outsiders are going to continue to get drained and are going to have to go. The change is accelerating, and that's going to. It's almost a grinding of the gears. And as that happens, you're going to look for more and more controls instituted by the guys in the top so that they can continue to manage a process. Now, that's North America. What we're watching globally is an effort to rebalance the global economy from one that's sort of where the motor is the American consumer to one that's rebalanced to the global consumers. So you're going to see that rebalancing going on as more and more assets continue to be moved out of ownership and control of government into corporations. Because we're looking for, what they're looking for is a corporate managed planet that is much more top-down controlled. And that's a global plan, and so we're watching them sort of proceed to do that. And with $12 trillion of bailouts, they have mighty resources to do it. And that's why, what you always hear me say is don't worry about whether or not there is a conspiracy. If you're not in one, you need to start one. Because we're watching a planet that's being managed by conspiracies. So if we want to provide an alternative to the central banking warfare model, we have to start conspiring, and it starts by conspiring in ways that protect you on the outside. Because we're looking at a situation where your time, there's going to be more stress on your time, your income is probably going to be under pressure to drop, your expense is rising, and you need to jump the curve on that. And that's going to require a conspiracy, literally, for us to start to circulate more of our cash flows to each other. Because right now, we continue to shoot our cash, whether it's purchases or investments or bank deposits or donations, back to them. So we're financing we're financing the guy who's shooting at us. And so it's going to take, conspiracies at the, in your network and in your local area to start saying, okay, what are my short-term problems? How do I start to barter? How do I use precious metals?
Well, they call it a conspiracy. All it is networking is a conspiracy. They conspire to take over. We've got to get organized, take over our local communities politically, but also individually, and point out that they are the progenitors of our misery and that we've got to get out of their system.
Absolutely. But you know something? We can create a lot more wealth than we can, so we can win.
And you've got a lot of that key information at Solari.com. Catherine Austin Fitch, thanks for spending time with us on your vacation.
Thank you, Alex. Have a great day.
You too. You're awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, the search term is pre-crime. Pre-crime. Get it out to everybody.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
You may be arrested and/or subject to other police action. tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state